I had this rabbit hole. It was like during COVID. I really wanted to know how electricity worked. So I start looking up YouTube videos.
Okay.
And then I look at electricity. I'm like, that's crazy. I don't really understand that. And then I was like, well, how computers work. Then I looked up transistors and then silicon and semiconductors.
You're going to be Steve Jobs in no time.
And I was like, I said that too.
You're halfway there.
Fuck yourself. And I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, well, so the atoms, and then they do this. And I'm like, wait, what are atoms? How does that work? And then I arrived to your video where you're explaining.
You're like, we have to start at the stop.
I literally did. I went all the way down. I'm like, well, I need to understand atoms to understand semiconductors.
There's quarks and Hank Green. They're like right next to each other.
Hey, John.
That's what and I look, and it's you explaining how, because I'm like, something's got to make sense here. Why is chemistry at the basis of just these little circles that like circle?
I thought you guys were just going to ask me if I was circumcised, honestly.
That's good.
Okay, all right, we'll do chemistry.
And then what do I find but a video of you explaining how no one really knows. And that's kind of beautiful. And it's like music. And I thought that was a very beautiful way to think about it. But let me tell you, Hank Green, I'm still scared. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, why is that scary?
I don't know.
Because I learned about atoms. I learned they're in my skin. I get scared.
They're in my skin. How are they not touching? But it's touching.
It's all, isn't it? It doesn't need. You don't need to touch.
They don't need
touching is a you thing. Touching is a thing that you think about. It's not a thing that atoms need.
They don't think about it.
They just don't. Atoms don't think about touching.
They're not thinking about touching.
But there's forces, and everyth's being held together by the forces. You don't have to worry about exploding, losing parts or anything, except for the hair.
Okay, yeah. Explain the basic fundamentals of existence in a brisk way without making me scared. Go.
Oh.
And I'll give you a quick break. While you think about it, are you cut or uncut?
That's gonna do. That's actually a complicated question. So I'm gonna stick with this.
This was easier. Go ahead with this. Sorry. And I'm scared easily. So.
Yeah, I'm worried that I'm not gonna be able to not scare you. I mean,
scare him.
Just scare him.
I mean, we don't know. Obviously, like there's a lot there, like I think that there's like potentially an equal number of things that we know and don't know. You know, it's like we know a lot of stuff, but we're still constantly in the process of figuring new things out, which is really cool. And like we have a bunch of new tools with which to figure stuff out, and it's gonna keep happening, which is why like being 43 is the process of like really going from science is like a body of the things that we know to being like, no, science is the tools that we use to figure things out, and it is still in progress, like still very much in progress. So I've like so much has changed since I was in college, even where like I couldn't teach you biology the same way I learned it. It would be wrong in some ways.
Really?
Like, there'd be pieces of it that are really important that we just didn't know back then. But I mean, if things can exist, they exist. That's a big one. But like at the base of it, we don't know why stuff exists.
Yeah.
And that's like really weird. Like we don't, there doesn't seem to be any particular reason why this is a universe that has stuff versus a universe that has nothing.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
But like obviously stuff can exist, or because it does. And so
I've been saying the opposite. I think he's got me on this one.
Touch it.
Do you think that nothing exists?
No, I think things exist.
Yeah, and like that's like, and if things can, and like the big like cool part of the part of the world, like the universe that we are in, is that this thing like happened with chemistry, where like things that were able, like there was more of any chemical that was able to make more of itself, which makes sense, right? Like if it can make more of itself, there will be more of it.
Yes.
But like that just kept happening until cells happened. And cells just kept happening until like
now we have Xbox.
Semiconductors, and then there's Xbox, and then there's Urzikstan, and we could drop down.
We play
Warzone, and we loot, and then
my guns are always worse than my opponents.
But it's cool because we learned so much. Because 100 years ago we were so dumb, and we gave cigarettes to babies.
100 years ago we found out the fundamentals of existence, and it freaked everyone out. And William Faulkner got freaked the fuck out and wrote a bunch of weird stuff.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that's what happened to William Faulkner.
That's what happened. Everyone was losing.
But I think in 100
That's
years from
modernism.
now, we'll be like, oh, we were dumb 100 years ago.
No, I think it's a bell curve. Because I look back like 1,000 years, and I'm like, damn, they could paint.
White boy can paint.
And I'm looking at people now, and I'm like, we're making TikToks. Who cares?
We can still paint.
I don't know. We paint like that, bro.
Nobody cares.
I go to the
anymore.
Getty. I'm not looking up, and I'm like,
Dude,
that's
you
crazy.
know how I know no one cares? Because you go on TikTok and you'll see a live stream and it's painting 7 famous people at once with my hands and my toes and my butt cheeks.
It's pretty cool.
And then it's got like 30 viewers.
It's got 30 viewers, and then you swipe one more, and it's like peeling an egg, 10,000 viewers. And it's like, oh, we can do it. No one gives a shit.
Yeah. I think we can do it. No one gives a shit. I think it's about like we always want to be doing something different, and you have to like know so much to see what's different. Sometimes that like I'm really interested in like the science fiction novels that are written for science fiction fans versus the science fiction novels that are super popular. They're all very different, because if you're like a super fan of a thing, you know all the tropes, you know all the things, and so like you want to.
Expectations to be subverted more.
Yeah. Whereas if you want to write like a really poppy thing, you can't be subverting expectations all the time, because people are like, I thought this is not what I thought was going to happen, and I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, and they throw the book at the wall.
I thought this was going to explain batteries to me. I don't. This is going too far.